one steps down and escapes the day will calmly walk away from the fray. When structure falls and all else fails, we will build it once again. Turns to grey, we'll calmly walk away from the fray. When structure falls and all else fails, we will build it once again. We can climb high, higher than before, or we could stand by while it burns to the floor, though we cannot fly. We will build and the wounds will mend as we build it once again. as I fell to the ocean floor, fading light through an open door. I saw myself rise with the water. They thought they could keep me down, hold that breath and watch me drown, but all they did is push me higher. We don't care what they say, we will be here all day. We'll stay until it's over, till the world's out of sight. We will stand, we will fight, it's not over till it's over. Through the nights in the rain, through the time and the pain, the stand will never fall. And then at the end of it all, we will win, we will chant, it's not over till it's over.
That.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the DuoEsports quarterfinal matchup between 4th seed FrostyEsports and 5th seed DTS. Joining me on the cast tonight is none other than
Army Overlord, the guy behind the camera, is coming out on the front stage to distribute game number uno for all of you very, very happy fans. It's going to be finally playoff time, and we've been waiting a long time for this, and so have these teams, as FrostyEsports and DTS are going to go head-to-head against each other.
yes, they are, and what an epic battle it's going to be. Unfortunately for DTS, Jin Daddy is MIA right now, so let's talk about that a little bit. Navigate versus Donga Vicious in the mid lane.
Now, over the course of the entire season, it's been rumored, it's been mocked, it's been laughed at, but honestly, the DTS team has always been known as the team that gets 1v9 carried. And Jin Daddy is that carry machine. He manages to single-handedly dominate the turf on the mid lane position, his Zoe, his Rise, almost on another level of gameplay performance. Yet somehow, some way, today he just could not seem to get the right connection. And honestly, that kind of a stroke of luck happened to us as well. It was like we couldn't seem to get exactly what we were trying to do either. So it's completely understandable that this connection in Discord and the lag and all of it, hopefully it'll be better.
But one of the big things also for Frosty is Shy Quinn is, I believe, sitting out on quarters. So once again, FrostyEsports also without their main mid laner, so it's kind of equal for both sides.
That is 100% true and accurate. With Nunu and Azir in the combo mix, it's going to be a pretty interesting little wombo combo setup in play. Riven is definitely a topic of interest so far for a lot of people in the audience. They are curious, what's the point of Riven for a comp like this? What do you think?
What am I thinking for Riven for a comp like this? Well, I think it's definitely a solo pick. What Riven brings is damage, alright? She brings damage, and a little bit of crowd control to go with it. There are a lot of better top laners that could have been picked for Koala here, and I'm assuming his mindset's just to run down the Swain and completely remove that pressure that Swain would bring in the first place by killing him.
Definitely a good idea in theory, but can Riven be the champion to do that? Swain very good at opponents that are right on top of him, able to keep him close, keep him in an area where he has better authority, and really get a nice burst damage. Riven might have a lot of trouble. But big question here is the Twisted Fate choice. Twisted Fate and Zac, honestly, really rare of a situation, because Twisted Fate normally has never been picked in the competitive series this entire season. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen him in a single situation in the competitive environment at all throughout the entire thing. Not once, not even in a Gathering of Warriors. Yet, here he is, debut appearance in a playoff opportunity. I'm not sure what Donga Vicious is thinking of, but he wants some ranged stuns. That's a good way to have it.
I mean, the Twisted Fate pickup is a little weak in the early stage, but it gives them that global map pressure that the Azir doesn't quite have. So in that regard, it's actually a pretty good pack.
Can be a pretty good one indeed. Let's see how it will work out. Looks to be the final bans all lined up perfectly. A lot of ADCs were taken from the Frosty side. They definitely do not want the Cho-Cho to be in his groove in this matchup. They also got rid of Gangplank and Sejuani, definitely trying to cripple the force of an even ban spread. They're not seeming to worry too much about the mid laner since Jid Daddy appears to not be here. However, in this other situation, we've got Irelia, Galio, Anivia, Morgana, and Lucian. So very even spread, almost all over the place on the bans. Maybe the only one not focused was the jungle on that option. So interesting idea.
Yeah, definitely the case. Both these teams going from top to bot as well, interestingly enough. No one feeling a top lane giving my AD carry right now. None of that apparently out of neither of these teams. As the Taric is locked in for not a real doctor.
And that is a great way to take advantage of staying alive in fights. And it looks like the answer is going to be a Alistar as a returning option. You know, Alistar very good at capitalizing on quick instincts, quick action. Twitch, Taric, not very good at reacting on impulse. They don't have a kit in their ability whatsoever to deal with an immediate CC lockdown, which means Taric will have to try to keep Twitch alive long enough for that ultimate to come into play level 6 wise. Not sure how Tristana and Alistar will cope with the ultimate in play, but the big question is, can Twitch and Taric reach that very vital late game, or will Tristana and Alistar's early game completely obliterate him? Twisted Fate will be the deciding factor if he goes bot.
Yeah, so touching on the Twisted Fate pick a little bit more, laning phase, how do you think it goes against an Azir? Is that kind of, a hands down lane for the Azir, or is that actually an even matchup for Twisted Fate?
It really comes down to wave clear. Like, almost all of it comes down to wave clear for the both of them. But I think Azir has the big upper hand advantage. I don't think Twisted Fate really can do much except stun him. Now,
down to the wave clear.
Right. Now, the big question that I'm wondering, is this going to be a Wombo combo Nunu Azir and trying to take advantage of Azir's abilities by enhancing the attack speed and enhancing the AP to a degree that Azir is almost busted to the point where they're going to overwhelm their opponents based off of using the Azir's with a 4-man comp strategy. Now, looking at what I'm seeing right here, I see a pretty solid 4-man group. Now, they don't have a lot of CC lockdown, and if Zac jumps in, Twisted Fate gets a good stun card, I would dare say Tristana will have a pretty good time. But it won't last long, because Azir will be able to swing back pretty hard with enhanced damage and attack speed, and Twitch will be able to get some of his own attack speed increased through Taric's abilities. So, really, 4-man seems to be pretty strong. Now, that would mean, if they're doing that, Riven would be the main split pusher and main ability to get things done. If TK wins that matchup, Riven, hate to say it, will have to force this to be a 5v5 situation. And if it is, I think DTS has the upper hand.
Yeah, I definitely agree on that one. If DTS are able to get the combo that they're looking for with the Alistar, with the Zac, keep the carries of TF Tristana firing away in the back lane and let Swain do whatever he wants, really, that's what DTS want. But with Frosty have, that they don't necessarily want completely, it's just to kind of run a DTS while DTS are running away, because they have incredible chase potential. They have the Nuno for the speed boost, they have Ribbons inbuilt, movement speed with the Vault and the Broken Wings, they have Twitch with the ambush, and they have a Cosmic Radiance flying at you at the same time. I think if you're FrostyEsports, you want to be able to in a situation where DTS are all pretty low, and you're able to just run at them, and automatically you win the fight off of that.
Yeah, the very narrow gap of burst damage that they have and they can provide is really paper thin. Especially with the Taric ultimate coming into play, the damages is just going to get nullified, it's going to get ruined, and it's just going to be really challenging to just break up the monotony of that situation. Genuinely speaking, I feel like after the Taric ultimate ends is where the factor comes in heavily for DTS, because their cooldowns on stuns are not very long, especially Twisted Fates. He could just instantly get a gold card almost immediately after Taric's ult finishes. And then when that happens, he could just start throwing out some cards, making things really difficult for everybody on the battlefield.
Absolutely the case. We're hopping straight into the loading screen. I don't think we'll see anything out of place whatsoever, but you can always be surprised as what players might pick up out of nowhere.
Oh, absolutely. The real question that I want to know right here is, what exactly is the battle strategy for the early game? Because their early game is not looking good for Frosty's team. They're putting a lot of chips into the late game department, so their early game has to work well. And Riven has to win that lane to be a strong 4-man comp. If not, hate to say it, but DTS will have the better step in the fights to come.
Yeah, they're definitely going to rely a lot on a Smolens, aka Mordekaiser, and his jungle pressure. Really, what can the Nunu bring to the enemy jungler and to the lanes is something that first you have to be thinking about in this matchup.
Well, big questions will have to come and be answered right away, because they cannot afford to let early game get away from FrostyEsports. They need this early game to go well, so that way they can go in with a strong start in this best-of-3 matchup. Strong
Absolutely the case.
Because that's the main key thing about best-of-3s. You always have to have the strong start. You make a strong impression at first, the chances of you winning are pretty good. Now, I'm not saying it's a guarantee. I know you specifically say, Blaze, that there's a certain statistic about winning franchises currently when it comes to their seed and matchup here, which means both teams have a pretty good chance to even go all the way to the championship, according to that statistic, if I'm correct. But
along those lines, yes.
Okay. But being that the case, really it comes down to how the first impression of the first game comes, because that is a strong impression, because you can really get a nice clean sweep victory if everything goes well.
In the case of 2-0 is a 2-0 either way, best of 2 or best of 3, but these teams do have the liberty of not having the series end automatically if it goes 1-1.
True, indeed, but let's see how everything else is going to work out for them. So the big question is, if you happen to be a Frosty fan or a DTS fan, let us know in the comments section. We want to see if we can get as much support and love for this team. They both are well hard-fought and well-struggling franchises that have done their best to do everything in their power to win. Let's see if it's going to accumulate for this very important playoff match.
Definitely the case.
It looks like the beginning phases are going pretty naturally. No surprises, no sneaky maneuvers. Taking the nice, clean, and focused fighting in every step of the way so far.
Neither of these teams want to do anything funky. Neither of their champions really say early game, other than the Riven. Just to play it safe than sorry.
Now, level 2 will be a big play for Alistar. I would imagine they want to go in if they have the advantage and try to get themselves a nice level 2 and try to surprise the Taric. They've got the level 2, but no engage attempt yet. Interesting decision. Oh, Nova Frost. Ooh, you're stepping a little close. Drago does not feel it. Never mind. He didn't want to go for it, and there's their level 2 opportunity. Now gone. Nova Frost now has his level 2. I don't think it's a good idea to go in anymore.
Nah, DTS played very safe there, and with the wave coming up, they didn't want to try it at all. Jumping in, maybe to a Taric, or just getting some good damage off. A little bit of respect shown to Frosty.
Gets the stun to land. Looks to be a little damage onto Tristana here. That's about it, actually. Oh, there it is. Electra.
A Dazzle and a Venomous Cask, and that's also that she wrote for that half trade.
So I believe that would mean you and I are pretty much a casting duo that we've been doing for a long time here. For the audience at home, I'm pretty sure they, some of them might not know what exactly roles that we normally do. So I guess we should probably enlighten that. I will be the color casting, and you will be the play-by-play.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
All right, actually, while we're at it with play-by-play, a
Ooh.
little bit of action in the mid lane, but it's just a little bit of cold on the side of DuoEsports.
Yeah, definitely an opportunity he didn't get. Oh, big play. Here we go.
Uh-oh, Koala might be in trouble here. There's the never move. There's the damage flash away. They're going to keep on chasing. No, they won't. They will back off and just get the free flash.
Grip Angel Koala's not done yet. Here comes Nunu and a stun lockdown at bot lane.
Down the bottom lane, Alistar gets the two-man stun. Back up on the top half. It will be double XL. Taken low from this one. Now split up into Bloblets. Takey has no mana. This could be first blood to come in for FrostyEsports. One more would do it. And Ace Mods picks up the kill.
And the bot lane, the stun misses on Not a Real Doctor. He tried to get the lockdown, but he is now pretty low. That play worked out really nicely for that. For the Chocho and Drago. They just could not seem to finish it off, though. Stun comes in again.
Oh, stun number 2 coming in. There's the stun. The Twitch taken low in this one, but he's not the focus. The heal burned from Frost, and DTS not able to get the kill on that one.
Lack of focus on that one. They needed to make a decision. Goes for the split to try to take them both out at the same time. Does not pay off. And Not a Real Doctor and Frosty Nova now getting their health back fast. Big misread opportunity by Chocho and Drago. Both of them needed to get at least one kill out of that, and they just didn't get it.
Alright, some pretty close stuff. And if we look at the top lane play a little bit sooner, I want to say really good game knowledge and heat of the moment by Ace Mods to use the smite on the Zac passive to make sure that they take out double XL quicker. In fact, there was a good reason as to why he didn't respawn with his passive.
So, it's again a health advantage here by the Tristana and Alistar. They are having complete control of the situation. But topside, not a wet noodle fight at all.
That's not a wet noodle fight whatsoever. That is a one trade for Koala. Takey taken down to half.
And has the farm lead versus TK's only item at this point being the Sadness Tear of the Goddess. As he's quite sad that he is not able to do any extra AP damage. He's just purely relying on base. Meanwhile, Dub takes out Control Ward as Nunu has spotted him out and decided to run bot side to keep an eye on Zac's possible 3-man gank. And rewards, apparently.
Yeah, both junglers were pretty close to each other. Got spotted out and backed off and went to their respective camps.
At this stage in point, Twitch is definitely struggling. Makes a lot of sense. He just can't seem to get any breathing room with an Alistar Tristana on the other side. There's just too much gap closing, too much instant CC lockdown. They go ahead and launch the stun there, but it looks like they're both okay. Heavy ping going on in the mid lane. It looks like DuoEsports is now level 6, so they are making sure everybody knows that he has an ultimate ready to go. And they got to be extra careful, too. He could be anywhere at any point at any time in the map. They have to be extra cautious, especially Koala.
Yep, especially Koala, seeing how he is the prime target for DuoEsports' Destiny at the moment. But do you think that Frosty, or do you think that DTS are going to be, you know, willing to do that against
DuoEsports got the burst!
Koala goes for the play, wild card ignite, picks up the kill!
Pick a card. Every card.
Right, now up towards the top half, they try to make the play. Stretching strike does land. Damage on Eye of Demise come through. Very low on Koala, but not taken out.
A lot of burst damage on the Riven. Definitely thought that he could survive a little longer, but couldn't. Oh, big fight here.
Oh, no, that could be really bad. Frost gets jumped on the bot lane. Does get the ambush off, but he's not quite able to get any more damage out, as it will be Doctor that takes the worst end of it. No one's dead, but another one trade for DTS.
Heavy, consistent pressure is the best way to force a Twitch behind in CS, and you see it now. It's almost two waves ahead for the Tristana, and this is exactly what you like to see so far when you're playing Alistar as a support. You force your ADC to be way ahead because the enemy just can't deal with an instant CC lockdown.
No, they can't, and really this is going to be a pretty big struggle with the explosive shot. Passive as well, doing a little bit of extra damage to Frost in the bottom lane.
And it looks to be a bit of a collection here for DuoEsports. He'll be taking the blue buff. That is going to be very good for Twisted Fate as he appears to be heading for a Rod of Ages as his first one. Not saying it's a bad option, but there are a lot of burst opportunities DuoEsports could be going for. He wants the tankiness, so nothing wrong with a Rod of Ages. Meanwhile, misplays
Oh,
the
boy,
ultimate.
Navigate goes for the play. It's not going to work out in the mid lane. Now double XL to come, follow up.
Lockdown.
Watch is taken very, very low. Damage on a
Stun
doctor. They
hits.
land the stun. One more hit would do it. Buster shot doesn't do enough damage. And FrostyEsports stay alive.
So very close, but it looks like Zach will jump himself way out of there, avoiding the possible end play. Oh boy, Tarek nowhere to go. Does the stun lands? It may be a big turn.
Frosty to try and turn this. The flash
He
away
gets a
from
kill.
Dragokane. Gets turned on him. And that was a beautiful bait by Frosty.
Incredibly well-timed stun. Alistar thought maybe I can force the kill to happen there, and Tristana's damage was just a little bit, not enough. Alistar was unable to see the play coming until it was too late. Meanwhile, Riven, big
Now
fight here. He's going for the burst.
Taken very low. Blade the Exile not going to be able to land. It's going to be 3 members of DTS up there. There's the stun, there's the damage, and the kill onto Koala.
Yep, it looks like the extra orb decided by Riven to give some extra protection against magic damage was not going to be enough, although bot are an extra second and a half, something that Riven just could not seem to rotate. But meanwhile, knowing that they lost their top laner, they're going to force the quick take on the Cloud, and they will have it in an instant as 10 minutes and 30 seconds have gone by. Oh no, they're making fun of me now. Incredible.
Oh boy. Well, either way, FrostyEsports salvage the lost play up on the top half with the dragon as DTS pick up the top turret.
They will lose the first tower for a Drake. Not a bad one. Could be better if it was a mountain or an infernal. But a lot of pro players and a lot of competitive teams seem to really like the Cloud Drake. So it just kind of works out for them. Nice job for each individual, forcing some objective to be taken regardless of the inevitability of losing something.
Something pretty interesting with the item builds right now is the AD carries. Nova's went with BF Zeal as to where Chocho has gone BF Pickaxe. What are your thoughts on that?
See, if it was the other way around, I would have been like, okay, Twitch is just relying on Tarek going Ardent Sensor, so he just wants to not worry about it, or relying on Nunu for the extra attack speed increase. This situation is, he wants to try to force himself to have as much attack speed as possible, as you're supposed to with Twitch. That's just ideal for how Twitch usually works. You want to have as much attack speed as you can out of the champion. As for Tristana, there is built-in attack speed from the Q, which is very high compared to the opposing opponent. So forcing extra damage means that Tristana will have more than Twitch will, but the crit advantage is 20%. Let's see how it works out. Oh, stun does connect, but the bounce out by Tristana will not let him be held in place. Zach comes in.
Boy.
Here
comes
Fate.
Double XL. That pops the Destiny. There's the gold card. Cosmic Radiance. Only going to mean so much here for Frosty. Their support's caught out. A stun underneath the turret. Chocho taken low from that one. And Donga Vicious with the wild cards picks up the kill.
How in the world does he connect that one? Here we go. Dongovich is coming back in. He's got another yellow card. Wants to go for Tarek.
There we go. Flash gold card. Follows through. Stack deck does some good damage. On towards not a real docs, but Frosty trying to repel. Draws another gold card. Stops the chase. Keep going through. Chocho gets an auto off, and DTS, they're gonna have to get out of this one.
Don't
Frosty
connect.
might have stepped a little too close. In comes Navigate into the team. DTS are taking very
so
low from this one. Alistar does go down, but the damage right afterwards.
The stun doesn't connect.
Azir doing damage, but another stun card from Donga Vicious seals the deal.
Riven's coming in now. Looks like Koala wants to try it for something risky. Zach does the jump over, and it looks like everybody has finally gotten out. So close, and Koala still chasing after the ADC. He's not done yet. He's going right for the Tristana.
Oh no, the Chocho in trouble here.
Not enough.
Not enough. Oh boy. So
and Swain gets the tower off of that. So not only did they get a couple of kills and the big advantage, they also forced the mid tower. Very great for DTS.
That fight was super back and forth, and it was super risky by DTS, but they somehow made everything work. Donga Vicious hit every single gold card that he needed to in that fight.
Yet it somehow just was not enough. They tried everything in their abilities, gave their lives to try to keep the CC coming, but not a real doctor, just tapped out, couldn't stay up long enough to get the lockdown that Azir needed to get some good CC to turn that fight. And Azir tried to force the play, but the stun card came up again, and Jojo finished him off. It was a really risky play, and Frosty tried to force it to work, but now it's a 4K lead. 4.5K, as it looks to be big numbers advantage for DTS, who came out massively on top on every spectrum on that fight.
Absolutely, and 4,000 gold, 15 minutes in is absolutely ginormous. Looks like Frosty are gonna try and force this one. They're not gonna get anything out of it though.
Somehow, some way, they squeezed out of that one, all thanks to the Drago's ultimate. The anti-CC damage just reduces so much, and oh my goodness,
they're not done just yet.
No, they're not.
They are not done just yet. There's the Destiny pop.
Second. He gets that second.
He's going to be able to get it. Koala doing some good damage. They will pick up one kill, but taken very low afterwards. Dazzle not going to hit. Donga Vicious with some of the cards to come through. Navigate looking for the ultimate. It's two members of DTS. Very low here. There's another gold card. Eye of Demise picks up the kill. Tiki picks up one. Double XL on the front line. And now FrostyEsports on the wrong side of the map. Gold cards all over the place as DTS starts styling on them. And there is nowhere for them to go.
Navigate, you're going the wrong way. That's so far away from your base. You need to navigate the other direction, my friend. He's gonna try to jump through, but he mistakenly walks into a monster and ends up pushing himself back into the same pit.
That is a... Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that was an ace for DTS.
Yes, it was. An absolute great ace for them. That's a 7K lead for them.
Goodness gracious. And that's going to be the second Cloud Dragon going over them to boot.
Oh boy, I'm not winning anybody's favor today. I must be having a bad day. Apparently, I mispronunciated Azir's jump over. It sounded really bad. Right. Well, anyway, lockdown by the Taric. Oh, boy, Doctor. We'll squeeze out of there. No CC by Drago.
Yep. He's able to get out of that sticky situation. Fortunately for DTS, everything is going exactly as they needed to. It was almost probably DTS sweat for the chats here, as Jin Daddy literally didn't show up, and now the rest of the team is playing absolutely splendid.
Do you think Jin Daddy was actually the kryptonite that kept this team down? Well, certainly Frosty feels like that's the case.
I mean, if I were Frosty, I'd be like, no Jin Daddy, and I'm walking into the matchup. Like, that is that's some hype right there. That's some momentum that Frosty definitely had coming into the matchup. I guarantee was being discussed in the comms, and suddenly, Donga Vicious is turning everything on its head.
A little bit of lag out for him, as he's not sweating at all at this point. And a quick, easy tower take for Tristana there. Didn't even need to sweat whatsoever in any of that situation as they're trying to get Koala into the right position. Remember, the advantage that FrostyEsports is looking for is a late game advantage where they can really start utilizing their attack speed of both Azir and Twitch at a very long range, as well as close range too. Even a close range.
With close range, Frost gets way too close. There's Demonic Ascension. They'll knock him away with the Shuriman Shuffle.
Oh, the burst
really
damage.
Scary. FrostyEsports, you do not want to be here. Koala hops over the wall, still takes the bomb damage.
In any case, they're trying to get the lockdown that they're looking for here. The burst damage as they're wedging him into the second tier tower. They will not continue to try to force the play underneath that tower. I think it's a wise decision as they're going to be now sieging Azir's tower passive.
That they are very, very scary stuff. The only thing defending Frosty is the Azir turret.
Dongavicious is thinking about something. He's pulling some cards out of his sleeve. No play yet.
Trap card isn't sprung just yet onto FrostyEsports. They have not stepped too close, but everything, all the other cards are laid out on the table beautifully for DTS. They got the push up top. They have the 80 carry out of the fight. They have the positioning. All that's left is for Frosty to make a mistake.
And this may be the mistake. Here we go. Oh,
there they go. Cosmic Radiance looks pretty, but it's not going to do much if they get taken out a second afterwards. Now, Real Doctor taken low on this one. Double XL will take out Navigate. Now, damage, another gold card out of Dongavicious to come through. Koala's trying to get into the fight. Jumps over Eye of Demise, but the damage isn't quite there for FrostyEsports. Wild cards go through. There's the jump through. Koala has nowhere to go, and that is 4 for 0 for DTS.
Absolutely massive outplay by Dongavicious there. He just was able to get every card he needed and just hammer down the damage. The problem was Frosty Nova just never got the crits he was hoping for. He just never hit those crit numbers. He was really putting the damage in there. And Riven, just Koala puts the Gambit on too far and thinks that he's going to hurt more than he did, and he just didn't. Dub's trying to escape here, but he looks to be a little locked out.
First, you gotta be careful if they decide to go for the chase. There's a gold card onto Doctor. Cancelled. Engage as well, and DTS are gonna walk away free.
10k lead, actually 11k lead now, as this match is completely stumbled out of control. Their investment into late game has completely backfired on their stock shares, and now they're almost going into bankruptcy.
I think they are in bankruptcy. When you're down 11, approaching a potential 12,000 gold deficit, not even 22 minutes into the matchup, I think that's some super scary stuff for FrostyEsports. They did not expect themselves nor want to be in.
In this situation, their only hope is to just start investing into some good play and well-trained mechanics, because I just don't think if they just don't invest into that type of material, I don't know what kind of comeback they're going to pull off. I'm trying to do like a joke that Dota will find funny, but I don't think I'm doing it.
Probably not. I think the only way for Frosty to come back from this is just to hope that DTS either don't do anything or start making some huge mistakes.
Yep. So far, with the 11k lead, they could do just about anything, and even then, it won't be that much of a toss hat. They will have a big lead even if they give away all of their kills that they just got. It still will be a very, very close game at that point, but DTS definitely has a very massive lead. They could get a Baron right now, but they're trying to take some catches and some picks. Good call and decision, but can it really work out at this stage? We're definitely going to have to find out.
Well, hope so.
Meanwhile, Swain easily is able to keep up with the Riven, sorry. I always mistake those two. In this situation, they will not be able to utilize any of this 4-man 4v1 comp whatsoever because the Riven just can't seem to keep up. And the main reason for this is because being forced into the off-build choice Hex Drinker, or now the Malum Mortius, is essentially what is making Riven struggle here heavily. And that is something that they just didn't really consider on the split push. Riven just not... When Riven's away from her directive build path, Riven struggles a lot. And early game-wise, that's only going to make things harder. Ocean Drake will be going over towards, it appears, yes, easily, to the hands of DTS.
If I'm DTS, I start going for... they can choose at this point, go for a 4-1, or go for a 1-3-1 if they want to, just kind of mess up Frosty.
Well, Nova's got nowhere to go. No invisibility in the world is going to get him out of this
goodbye.
situation.
That is a dead Twitch. Just a few more hits would do it. Dongavicious picks up the kill. His 6th one of the match so far.
So far, it appears that they're slowly getting picked apart. The advantage of Twisted Fate in the early game advantage that Dongavicious has is massive. Almost irreversible, because even the slightest catch now becomes even more insurmountable. Oh, with a 12k lead, this is just almost all but over, as DTS can almost get a Baron to go with it.
Oh, no, there's no almost to it. They are getting the Baron to go with it. The icing on top of the cake for DTS, and that might be what seals Frosty's fate right there.
14k lead, slowly shrinking to a 13k lead, but actually, never mind, regrowing immediately back to a nicely huge 14k lead, is just making this match almost very troublesome for Frosties. They're slowly picking up every scrap they can to just make a big last stand that should be coming up pretty soon as Twisted Fate splits the bot.
Yeah, got to admit, this is really surprising, especially without Jin Dirty on the team. I kind of mentioned it a little bit in the Tower Dive, where I said, Frosty, they got to play as a team, and DTS, they have to start looking like 5 Jin Daddies, and I think I'm looking at 5 Jin Daddies here. And I don't think Frosty are prepared to play against 5 Jin Daddies when the real one's not even in the show.
Well, 5 Din Jaddies, or if you believe they're 5 Din Jaddies or not, they're definitely in control of the game regardless. And they're now beginning the siege on that inhibitor to grab another free one. Riven is on the way back while that siege continues. Alistar decides to make the play in, but I think it was just a little pressure game. Nothing serious here. Riven's going to go ahead and lock some CC. This is definitely FrostyEsports' game to lose if they commit to that fight, but they're trying to punish back. They did take a little health bars on the road, but no carries did whatsoever on that.
Yeah, not really any damages coming out of Frosty at this stage of the game, and a fight isn't what you want. There's the stopwatch to come through.
Oh, not a real doctor getting ripped to shreds.
Oh my lord, he's gonna get taken down before Cosmic Radiance can even help him now. They will be able to shut down Dongavicious in the back of the fight. Frosty trying to make something happen here.
Oh, the Cho hitting us some good crits, was able to force Tarek down in that fight, but Twisted Fate made the final blow, committing too much resources into that play, ends up getting him killed. But a forced fight, and Frosty will gladly take a tie if it means that the mid laner was the one that went down.
I mean, that's the first of what has to be, that's the first of what has to be several back and forth or small victories for FrostyEsports, because that on its own did absolutely nothing to the gold or to DTS's in their lead. It just stopped the push for maybe a minute, and that 13k gold deficit is still very real.
Absolutely. In this situation, they have the pressure game. They want to pick them apart slowly to make sure FrostyEsports is off their game. You know, great thing to do in a best-of-3 as well is when you're in a complete control situation. It's a little underhanded tactic that a lot of competitive teams can use, but most don't really do it too consistently, is to take advantage of how the opponent is thinking. Now, obviously, this is a GG surrender at 20 type of situation here, but for their situation, for DTS's situation, they just want them to keep thinking that this is such a lost fight that their next fight afterwards will be something that they'll think about, something that they won't consider. I lost my train of thought.
I think you're trying to say that make this so hard for Frosty to imagine they cannot come back and basically seal the series in right there.
Yes, thank you for that. Kind of lost my head in that situation. TK goes for the ADC. Oh my
goes into
goodness!
that one. Goodbye, Frost. You are dead. And so is the rest of FrostyEsports. Doctor's going to follow second. Quad will go on third on the list as well. Another stun card out of Donga Vicious coming in through. Navigate, not able to get back to the fountain. And the Destiny pop. An ace for DTS.
And a dominating fashion for it. Looks like so far one of the fans of DTS or a common spectator for a Dota's sake must be feeling pretty good right now because this is a clean victory for DTS.
An 18,000 gold lead for DTS. They didn't even have Jin Daddy, and they still played absolutely incredible, ending the game before the 29-minute marker.
You know, you don't really see a very dominating performance very often in a playoff environment, but definitely them doing their homework, doing their work, doing their job, doing their responsibility is cleanly the main reason for the success of this match. So we're going to jump right into some graphs and some stats and statistics. Let's talk about real quick before we head into the graphs, what kind of control score lockdown we managed to get in this matchup here. When you see the numbers right now on the lockdown, Azir has good slows. Twitch definitely has the red buff advantage, which he did use pretty efficiently. He had managed to get some good slows as well off. Nunu with the 20 and Tarek finishing with a 30. But on the opposing side here, you see 26, 26, and 27 finishing with a 35 from the Alistar. Their team comp was, we hold them down long enough until the damage finally gets there, and bam, we really hit them hard with the damage. And it certainly just seemed to be just a little too long of a CC lockdown, but just short enough for the damage to get through.
Definitely the case here, and it wasn't, in terms of crowd control score, it wasn't bad for Frosty. There's 30 on Not a Real Doctor. There's some decent numbers across the board, but that wasn't the issue. And I think if we look at the damage, we'll start to see a little bit of the issues.
Absolutely. Twisted Fate, though usually never having a strong early game, definitely got to that powerful mid-game spike with his ultimate, making catches, making plays, just utilizing every ability of his character. He would just survive fights long enough to make an impact, and he was a massive reason why he was able to get to that nice damaging spike. And every attempt Frosty tried to do when they tried to force turns just did not happen, and he happened to have the trap card necessary for the turning point at every single turn. Now, I know you're a Yu-Gi-Oh fan. What kind of situation would it be? Would it be like Yu-Gi when he pulls out the card out of his deck that he just wins the duel at that point, or is it like
something like that? Because there was no heart of the cards in this one. There was absolutely no faith, no luck, no chance for Frosty the moment DTS started rolling. So I think it was just you throw out the dark hole and it is adios for FrostyEsports. And you know there's an issue when Riven's damage is almost 3 times less than Twisted Fate. That's a pretty big thing I think Frosty should take away, walk into the next match. Maybe no Riven pickup.
Well, wait a second. What do you mean? I thought Riven is a tank. Let's take a look at the damage taken here, and Riven clearly out-tanked the Swain in a damage taken. She did survive over 15.9k damage taken. So honestly, that's I think that's what you get Riven for that reason. Am I right?
Something like that.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I don't think so. Let's go down the wards real quickly. Vision score coming in for DTS is looking pretty good across the board. 53 for the Alistar.
On the Wards game, it looks like Frosty playing a few steps behind, as it looks like every member of DTS outwarded every single warding position, excluding the bot lane, as it seemed like the Not a Real Doctor did not want to lose that warding battle, but it did lose in the Vision game fight. Bit unfortunate, but one final statistic for Dota's sake. I know he's a big fan of control wards, to see if everybody got one, and they did! Everybody got specifically one on the Frosty team. Everybody got one control ward on the Frosty team. That's funny. That's funny.
My. Say, aside for Ace Mods with 9 on the new here, not bad at all, but maybe 9, dare I say, a little too much for the entire game. There's maybe no such thing as too many control wards, but either way, it's definitely a high number for how behind they were.
I mean, we take a look at the items he managed to get off of that. He was basically giving away 750 gold-ish, well, at least 75 less than that. That's 600 and... I believe that's 600 and... so, math is hard. Math is hard.
Math is...
Now, force the support item from the Knight's Vow, but that's about it. Couldn't seem to really get any completed other than the Cinder Hulk. And, you know, you could have maybe bought maybe 2 control wards in total that game, and might have had a completed another item, maybe even something that could have been a big tank factor. But it was a decision, and I guess we'll have to move on with that.
You know, I'm going to speak for the audience here. I know what they want. I'm feeling they want to see the next game. Do you think so, Army?
I think they want to see the next game. Well, sit right there, folks. We will be right back. I'm sorry for that long interview of the individual statistics, but we'll be right back momentarily with the game to come. See you guys soon enough.
Ready to fly.
Go.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the FrostyEsports versus DTS series. Coming in the last game, DTS, shockingly, without Jin Daddy, absolutely decimated the likes of FrostyEsports. Can they do it again?
You know, I have sat here for a brief period of time, and I'm up for anything. But I don't know if FST is up for everything. They're now switching on to the other side after that very unfortunate game. They've got to really rebound their strategy. They've got to really hit what matters. They've got to get back into their chemistry. These guys are a winning team. You can see on the boards here, 5 wins, 2 ties, and 4 losses. 17 points in total versus DTS is 4 wins, 5 ties, and 3 losses. So DTS has always found a misbalance with their chemistry, where Frosty has been a winning group and winning very consistently. So to them, they are thrown off of their game, they're thrown off of their balance. They need to get back to what is supposed to be a good winning team, and they can be that team. I've seen it, I watched it, and I'm going to continue to watch it. I want these guys to be the winners that I know they can be.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, and I think that it's now or never for FrostyEsports now being down game. They're on a best of 3, mind you, so they can still come back with a reverse sweep onto DTS, but they gotta start making some things looking a lot better.
DTS has a lot of ties. That speaks a lot.
Second was ties in the league, actually. Fun fact, right behind Ties Forevermore.
It is incredible how the fight that was for the tie spree ended up with DTS coming out on top. So good for them, but in any case, it is some similar picks coming on for the DTS squad. They are like, hey, if you're going to give us the same champions, let's play them again. Meanwhile, Frosty going with a completely different strat, going for the champion Jake and J4.
Bringing out the J so far, not too shabby out of Frosty, but so far similar playstyle for Koala. It's a little more team oriented than the Riven pickup with the Jack so far. It's much more durable than a Riven will ever be, and much more efficient in terms of split push prowess. So I think that Jack so far a good pickup.
I mean, that is something you really would want to have as a pickup. You want your team to do really well, and you want it to be very effective. You can't afford your game to be put on a gambit, and it was put on a gambit because they thought Riven was going to be the strongest push. But because of the forced build choice that Swain TK took advantage of, Riven could not reach that optimal build direction. Now Koala will be able to take advantage of the AP ratio damage that he does and force TK, no matter what direction he builds, to do damage effectively onto him.
Yeah. So far, I think it's a little different out of DTS so far. They're shaking things up with the Skarner. They're bringing out the brand. Maybe not feeling the double time TF, but I think we're going to see very similar bottom lane.
There's also a bit of an understanding. I believe snakes are cold-blooded, yet somehow they have warmed up this very freezing area of FrostyEsports' tide. And now all of a sudden this is almost like a desert. And that's exactly where the snake works best. I mean, some snakes work best in that desert area. Not every snake. All right? I'm sorry.
I have to agree. That was by far one of your more creative puns there, Armega.
Thanks.
All right. So looking up at the Cho-Cho, hovering the Drave. I don't think that's going to be a lock, and I think Justana still a pretty solid go-to here. Maybe mock him with the Twitch.
So the Cho-Cho will secure the Draven. Tyler 1's favorite ADC of all time, and how can you deny? His damage is insane, his pressure is great, and honestly, he can just make some damage almost look absolutely mind-bogglingly massive. And Thresh on the follow-up.
So take back what I said automatically, because I just noticed it's Draven Lucian. That's actually incredibly bad for Frosty, because Draven is the level 1. I'll ignore that for a second. That Draven is the level 1 AD carry. He is the best AD carry in the early game in terms of his raw damage, and Lucian's probably the worst one that you could pick into it, because Lucian also wants to duel. And when you have two people that want to duke it out, generally speaking, the one with the higher damage is the one that comes out on top. And that's Draven, I think, about 95% of situations.
Yeah, you don't want to take a disadvantage going into a situation like that, and that's exactly what the capitalization by Cho is. Lucian, very good at forcing some instant trades onto ADCs who are not prepared, but Draven is a champion that is strong at that type of situation and can just instantly make some massive damage onto Lucian when he tries to capitalize on some quick trading. This is going to be very nice to watch and see how the Cho handles the situation. Meanwhile, Drago is going with a Thresh to beat the Taric down here in the bot lane. Now, if you're an ADC as well, Shuno, you basically know very well about matchups like this. Do you feel that Lucian and Taric is a unfavorable one, or is it going to be Draven and Thresh that is the one on the opposing side of pressure?
Oh, hands down, Draven Thresh. Taric is only going to be able to do so much in the early stages with the Dazzle. Yes, it does do some good damage, but as long as the Cho plays the matchup like half decent, I think he's going to be fine just due to the raw damage. If you understand the mini game with the Axe on Draven, you are set to go. Lucian has to try and go in with Relentless Pursuit if he wants to get some damage out, because poking with Piercing Light is inefficient. It's not going to win you against a Draven at all. I'm thinking this is a really pretty clear bottom lane for DTS, in fact.
Well, how do you feel about the Brand Akali matchup? Now, let's be honest here. Brand, very strong. You hit skill shots, you do damage. Certainly hurts really bad, but honestly, Akali, you could kind of say the same thing, but in a different sense. Truth be told, Brand, you have to be very fast on the trigger. And I'm not kidding. You need to almost be a lightning fast, if not already pressing it by the time Akali's going in, to get that stun locked down quick and fast. Big point I'm making here is, can Akali and Brand go well against each other, or will Akali have the complete upper hand advantage? What do you think?
I mean, Akali's not a pick you see every day, but I think it's really unfortunate for Frosty because Shy Quinn, not here. Navigate, also, Game 2, not here. They bring in their eSub manga and Akali. Like, I don't know how to feel about this other than it's really sketch. Because if I'm Brand, all I'm going to do is sit back and ruin your laning phase, and that's
yeah,
it.
but when that magical level 6 comes around for the Akali, oh boy, Akali will stop at nothing to jump on that Brand. But one little misplay and Brand will have an instant 3-hit combo, forcing the passive and Ignite that could probably one-shot the Akali. All comes down to if Akali can pull the trigger faster than Brand can. You don't really see a match quite like this one unless you're in the Wild West at high noon. But
the only
definitely
thing,
that type of match that they'll be having.
The only thing I'll be seeing at high noon is jungle pressure coming out of Double XL, because if I'm DTS, I want to move on to semifinals, presumably face Noyanips, the #1 team in the BSGCS's second season. Then I want to just camp mid if I'm Double XL and absolutely ruin this Akali's life and completely have a Brand that is snowballing in the early game, and that's the series.
You know, let's see if that is going to happen or not. Remember, even if it is a good opportunity to take advantage of, that doesn't guarantee that it will work in its best possible outcome. The truth is, there is no easy way to take advantage of a quick gank. You just gotta hope your skill shots land, your damage comes through, and the quick kill happens in your mannerism. Akali going for the electrocute, trying to get as much burst damage onto Brand as possible. No better way to do that than to just try to overwhelm Brand in an instant. So that's a fast way to get some big burst damage. J4 following suit with the electrocute as well. Not going to rely on an aftershock, as Not a Real Doctor will be the only aftershock on that side of his team. Meanwhile, on the opposing side, TK feeling really good about the Swain, wants to take it again. saying that he had the opportunity with Dublin Skarner going with the Predator. This is going to be Mangas?
Manga?
Manga? Well, the thing is, there's 2 A's. That's throwing me off.
Well, yeah, you could extend the accent if you want.
Maenga.
That's alright. Either way, if it's manga or manga, it will be for DTS coming in hot on the blue side, FrostyEsports on the red side. Winner of this game, if it's DTS, they'll be moving on to the semifinals. If it's FrostyEsports, we'll be getting a series on our hands.
In a lot of cases, you call this match point. In tennis,
Yes.
It's essentially where the opponent has one chance to score and they win the match. You're looking at that right now for DTS. They just need a solid play and a half to make this work. Meanwhile, talk about the junkyard item selection here. Look at all the items that Brand has. A ring, some pots, a dematerializer, a watch. This guy does not want to go unprepared for this Akali lane.
That's definitely the case, and I'd say, for what it's worth, how do you feel about the Doran Shield start on manga?
So, the truth is, Doran's ring on, on who? Oh, Doran Shield. Okay, yeah. Yeah, the Doran Shield definitely is with its purpose of decreasing the tick damage that Brand's ability will do while adding some extra sustain and survivability to the Akali on the other side. Now, it's not super effective and efficient because it isn't an easy way to pull it off, but he's definitely trying to stay surviving in this lane and trying to keep himself going long enough to get to that very special level 6 and get rid of these minions quickly. Good dodge there. Dongavicius needs to keep the pressure onto that Akali to force him down in CS, but he also has to make sure the waves are right where he wants them. Rampage, oh boy, those trades are not working out for him. Looks like he
Good poke coming out of Takei with the Death's Hand, making sure to get that splash damage, as he is actually not the first one to hit level 2 due to that harass being down by 2 CS, but still up in terms of HP.
Yep, and Rampaging Koala jumps in, gets some good trade here, wants to get some true damage proc, doesn't seem to get what he was looking for, and oh boy, those trades are not working out for him. Oh,
not at all.
The stun!
Ooh, down towards the bottom lane, Driver Kane stepping a little too close, gets a little greedy with the fly and takes the worst end of the trade.
From this situation, it looks like a Rampaging Koala is still taking those auto-attack trades, but has the farm lead right now. This is going well for him. Oh! Trying to keep that health bar low. He's going to force the triple proc passive. And Dongavicius now out of mana here.
Now out of mana, in fact. That's a good sign for the Akali. A little bit of breathing room that's very much needed. And surprisingly, 3 minutes in, not too much damage on this Akali pick at all, and definitely not too shabby.
One stun lands, the other one does not connect, and Draven comes out the biggest trade on all of that.
Going towards the top half, though.
And back to the bot lane.
Alright, so it looks like FrostyEsports are able to get out of that one up top, down towards the bot lane. This is why I said Draven special, just hands down, destroy the Lucian.
No mana left. And so far, that Doran Shield really working out for the Akali. He's able to stay in the health bar game, and it's working pretty nicely so far. I'm starting to understand a little bit more of Dongavicius' strategy. He's using all the mana he can to force Akali to low health, so no matter what happens in the laning phase, he can use the dematerializer to instantly help him clear the wave with auto attacks. So that way, he doesn't have to deal with a massive wave or losing anything on the siege minion portion. Maybe that seems to be his strategy, as it seems to be working really well. Oh,
really
the Q doesn't connect! He hits the
This
minion!
here doesn't land! Now in the bottom lane, Death Sentence does miss, and that was super close. Manga barely getting out of that one.
Oh my goodness, the glove saved by the minions, just throwing their body right in the pathway. Dongavicius got to be very upset. That was a free kill and a half for him. Meanwhile, here comes J4, pressuring DuoEsports. Will he get a flash?
Killing Smite. She will go for the combo. There it is. Goes too close with it, though, so he doesn't get the knock-up. Ace mods. As a free kill slipping away. DuoEsports then doesn't even need to burn the flash.
Yeah, he was really looking forward to try to get that knock up from a good safe range out of tower, but he just probably missed a good opportunity to force a flash out of DuoEsports. Now he has it, and now Akali is now 3, maybe 4 waves behind. Oh boy, here we go. The stun still somehow connects.
There's the death sentence, the stun, the damage, and I tell you what, the Jojo doing some good work, but it's going in favor of Frosty as they are able to force the heal.
Stun! Oh, the surprise
the flash forward, not a real doctor! Goes for the play, but they've baited it long enough. Exhaust onto Draven. Frost goes in with Pursuit. There's the Arn in place. They need an auto for the teammate to get the movement speed. The Lantern to come through at a Drago Kane. And now Skarner is coming in deep on this one. The Dazzle lands on towards them. Can they get the kill? Flash forward! First blood goes over to Frosty. Now up in the top lane. Koala versus Takey. Never move. Does land. They're bringing Jax right on this one. Koala's taken low, gets the leap strike, and does get away.
And I can't believe Dub ends up feeding in that situation. Boy, did that not look well for him. Oh,
the flash!
boy.
Oh, my lord!
Oh, he's got another chance.
Oh, he does go for the kill! Smacks him on the head with the lamp! And that's a kill for Koala.
Brand forces the passive on the Taric. He kills him.
So much damage. DuoEsports picks up one. He's not going to be able to pick up a second at all as Frost seals the deal.
No way J4 could do that one, but Akali has a chance. Isn't going to risk it. Here comes Skarner on the flank. So, after all of that, it appears that Bran was the only one to get taken out, other than the Jax taking out the Swain. TK was not expecting the Jax jump, so when the flash was made in play by TK, he was expecting Koala to jump earlier, and then he didn't, so he gets moved back into position. Koala takes advantage of it and forces a nice third proc of his ultimate passive to get that extra AP ratio to do the big burst he was looking for. And TK misreads that, ends up going down. But as for bot lane, DuoEsports finally gets that passive he was looking for onto Taric. Needed to make sure Taric was going to die there to get a kill, and ends up isolating himself shortly after that play.
Yeah, and while Frosty came out on top in that situation, tying up the gold, there's still a huge farm deficit that we can't overlook here. 58-34 in the mid lane. Top lane's even, but that might change pretty quickly. Koala forces him out of lane, or at least definitely should.
Manga is dealing with the pressure of Bran, but Bran's now losing these trades, as most Akali players know. Bran has no way to protect himself unless he gets the quick draw EQ combo. But you gotta do it correctly, and you gotta do it right. And you gotta do it fast. Not easy to land.
Yeah, definitely the case, but so far, Manga doesn't have any kills, just has the assist, and as long as the farm game, that's what's important here, as long as DuoEsports is doing well in farm, which he should and is absolutely is over the Akali, DTS are the ones coming out on top.
Yep, and they do have a slight lead in the gold department. That mid lane main reason for why they're up ahead, as well as the bot lane in the farm department, but the kill ratios are still in the favor of for Frosty. Stun does not connect.
Oh no, and that's Relentless Pursuit used early. That's going to be Drago Kane's signal to go for the flash play. The damage. One more hit. The Chocho picks up the kill. Now Doctor in a sticky situation will not be able to land the Dazzle. And that's another kill going over to DTS.
Cho didn't seem like he wanted the double kill there, but it looks like Dub wants a kill here.
Dub does want a kill indeed. Gets the stun. So low. Takey barely able to get on that one, but it's Koala's fight right here. The jungler, Ace Mod's coming up as well with double buffs, but DTS have barely got away from that one.
Huh. Well, if you ever wish you had an Ignite in any type of situation, it would be that one. Yeah, I've never, like, that's where you're just you get taken by your mom and she tells you need to go back to bed, but you really want to watch a TV show, and you're like, no! That's exactly what happened there with Jax. He was just right there, needed one more auto, and he just didn't get it. Unfortunate for him.
Unfortunate stuff, but very fortunate stuff so far to come out of DTS. They started to pick up some kills, they started to get some stacks on the Draven. Very big for them.
Stun does not connect. Dongavicius wants to force a... No,
What?
doesn't get the 3 procs there, but does keep Taric away from any opportunity of the play.
Little back and forth in the river. It doesn't go anywhere.
Oh, going in right away. That's a
There's
massive
the
burst
shadow
damage.
dash. That's a lot of damage. Goes in
missed.
for the play. One more hit would do it. Stopwatch looks beautiful.
my
And the stun
goodness.
follow afterwards. Not going to be able to land it. Both junglers are here to help out their mid laners. Ace wants a few more hits.
He misjudged the range, but he still gets it.
Underneath the pod. Gets the Dragon Lance kill. And it's a 1-for-1.
Dongavicius there takes the gambit, thinking he can make the bait and survive it. But it was more damage than he anticipated. Ace had to make a decision, should have committed and flashed out. He had the flash option, but Ace chose not to do it. Ends up giving a kill back to Brand. Meanwhile, ult play by Lucian and Brash.
They're doing the damage right on top of Draco Kane. He will barely get out of that one. But now it's the Chocho's time to shine on this one. Goes in for 1 kill. Looks for another. That's going to be 2 hits. All that it would take. One more to come through. Styles on him underneath his own turret.
Oh boy, it's another quick game of trading between these two, and Jax has been coming out on the trades. He's going Cult too to try to get his income to go even higher against his opponent who's not doing that. And that's going to force Koala to have the farm advantage. That damage is looking a lot, but it might not be enough. TK needs his 5th ability at this point to make sure it works. Here comes J4, no ultimate by him.
They're going to try and punish the bottom lane on this one. Teleporter come through out of Koala, but that crit is absolutely massive, and if anything, that's going to favor DTS. Koala way too close. They land the stun on top of each other. Chocho is on a rampage. He will get shut down. Now, damage to come through. 2 more kills for Akali.
That's exactly what you want to have from your Akali. That is now going to be a big gap close in the gold department between these two. And it's still with the Brand advantage from the 2 kills on that one. He will grab a tower to getting the first one. That's going to make it no longer a close game between these 2 mid laners. It is once again a big advantage here for Brand. It will be now a 900 gold lead against his opposing Akali. But all you need as Akali is just a little bit of items to really get that burst going, and he's almost right there as Brand is beginning the back. No, he's not. He's still in the position here. They think they might catch him. Brand, nope, has a flash option.
They're not going to be able to catch him, actually. Pretty close stuff coming out for Dongavicius, but he's going to be able to back off to the correct side in order to get out.
Here we go, Infernal Drake well within the hands of DTS as they have the gold lead at a 3K mark as of right now. They are going to work on it. Swain's not going to be able to show up here unless he TPs. He's going to go for the TP. Swain, it's Skarner that confirms it.
Alright, there they're going towards this one. FrostyEsports are looking good in this fight. Actually, never mind, they're not looking so good in the fight because they get removed from the map. 4 kills in the snap of a finger for DTS.
That's not a lie at all. That was almost instantaneous. Dongavicius' damage, as well as Swain's and company's, were so much instant burst that they were just, what? Whoa! And we're dead.
Yeah.
And that's the power of 2 Infernal Drakes right there.
Yeah, kind of a shaky idea to be hopping straight into a 5-man team DTS when you are behind in gold. That's going to cost FrostyEsports a lot of pressure and a Rift Herald.
Okay, good. I was about to say, if Drago Kenya does not get that, I'm pretty sure Dongavicius would be a little upset about that one. just a little upset, I think.
Now, I'm gonna have to ask Army. Looking at FrostyEsports right now, in a little bit of a pickle. What do you think they should do?
Their momentum that they were having was dead even, but that 4-man death is throwing them off their cool. Akali's still very strong. Lucian is slowly turning into the mid-game damage dealer that they're hoping for, but Draven's got the crits. It is a close matchup that comes down to the percentage of health bars versus the crit damage that Draven has. Would say that the fight to come is going to be a tricky one for both sides. Unless a good catch is made by Draconia, which appears to be right now.
Oh my lord, Caster Curse OP! That is going to be Manga in all sorts of trouble. Whirling Death to come through. Not going to be able to land on top of its target. Frosty are looking to try and get the fight that they need going on towards the back line.
This could be an ace.
Frost might step a little too close on that one, and he gets hit by the Seer. It's going to pop him right afterwards.
He's not going to make it!
Oh my god, the Arcane Comet picks up the kill, and it's an ace for DTS!
The long-range Comet says, here you go, man! I almost forgot about you!
Oh my goodness, everything
has collapsed.
Is starting to go south for FrostyEsports as the turret, dare I say the inhibitor, actually, not just yet, but the inhibitor turret most definitely is getting
maybe he's a little
on.
much. No,
they look to try and salvage the play. Probably goes in and picks up one, picks up two. But that's all they're going to be able to get off of it. The turret still goes down.
That combo was not coordinated well enough. J4 goes in alone, gets obliterated thanks to the stun lockdown by both Thresh and Brand. But Akali taking advantage of the no health bars left. Takes out two of them, but Draven goes with a nice Q-empowered crit, then takes the tower and heads out.
Yeah, and this is, I think, almost as bad, if not worse, than last game. 17 minutes in, they are at 9,000 gold difference. That's pretty bad for Frosty.
And they lost it almost instantly is the big thing. They were even through so much of that fight, but then the 4-man kill, they misjudged how much damage their opponents could do and how much they can really just remove health bars in an instant. And then bam, even more, as it looks to be a small catch that managed to get a massive play off of it. Koala couldn't get the stun to land. He will get a big burst on the turret.
Looking for the desperation play here. They can't even catch out Takey in the top lane.
Now Draven versus Akali. Draven has a couple of crits. It doesn't take a lot. Speaking of not a lot,
oh, there it is. That's the pick they were looking for. It's not going to kill him either. Albeit Akali is absolutely deleted.
Another level of bursting. And honestly, that kind of brings up another interesting point that I have just realized. J4 is supposed to be a pretty valuable tank, but look what the item he decided to go for here. His first item going for the warrior is a big factor for the reason why he's not tanky right now. He has very little. In fact, I think Draven actually has more health bar than he does right now.
Yeah, this is really good by DTS on what they're doing here. They have the Swain in the top lane. They have the rest of the team in the bot. Frost, you cannot get anywhere near that bird. Otherwise, it's going to be a repeat of the Crows. He will be able to zone two people out. There's the stun underneath the turret. Flashes away. They might be able to secure his kill.
Oh, but it's the Herald that still manages to get the last hit necessary to take out that objective. As well as the minions. So he does get the objective. He goes down for it. But that is still a big plus advantage for DTS as they almost within 10 minutes got the same amount of advantage that they took last time in almost the same amount of time. The problem is, Dragokinia. The W will not make a big play here. Cook goes wide.
Nor the death sentence, but this is just disaster for FrostyEsports. DTS 10,000 gold lead, not even 20 minutes into the match here.
Better than last time, but almost, it was even faster than last time, too. Akali is their best opportunity to win this matchup. It comes down to, can this Akali make so much burst damage happen before anybody can defend themselves? Akali down on CS massively, and Jax is not tanky enough to survive this as the Ocean Drake easily falls again to their opponent, DTS.
Yeah, this is... dare I say, this might just be it.
A massive momentum loss. It's all it takes for you to lose a game like this one. Just a little bit of momentum getting out of your way. The CC lockdown will miss. It's a suppression lockdown that Dongavish is taking advantage of. Trying to take out Brand. It's a stun lock. Koala will end. Wait a minute, Manga takes one member down. Dubs on the run. This could be a big breaking point. Stun doesn't
they've
land.
been looking for all game. They might go for the play. There it is. The stun doesn't land out of Koala. Whirling Death goes through three members of the team. Frost might have taken the wrong way out. Forced to relentless pursuit and
this is
heal.
a 3v4, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. This is a
Eye of
3v4.
Demise comes through. There is the damage. Follow through. DTS on the chase. Their one man they're looking for is Koala. Skarn Ultimate not up, and FrostyEsports are able to get away with the hit and run.
And that is something that you just absolutely hate to see in a match. When you see a 3v4 happen and the four-man team is on the run. That is something you absolutely hate to see if you are a coach or a player or a fan, because that is just like, you have the number advantage and yet you are still losing the battle. Only speaks about how unfortunate and how heavy swinging this game has been for their opponents, DTS.
Yeah, definitely the case, and it is looking like maybe one Baron.
Yeah.
And that would be it. Just like last game, in fact, for DTS. For FrostyEsports, they have to come up with a miracle, because even though they didn't get ace in that last team fight...
Hook goes wide, barely, almost catching the Lucian there, actually. I was about to say catches Lucian, but no, that didn't happen.
Barely caught him, or barely didn't catch him, I should say. But nonetheless, it's going to take a miracle for Frosty to get back on this one, because they go even, and I say even reluctantly, in that last team fight. They're going to have to pull off something insane, maybe a Baron steal, if they want to stay in this one.
That would be all that they need at this point. It's a slow maneuver here. Tarek uses the stun in self-defense. Somehow, that W by Brand does barely tap the J4, and that is something pretty big for their chances. There's a 4v5 situation going on right now. Frosty's on the 4-man, and 5-man pressuring midside. They're going to try to take the inhibitor, or maybe end the game, depending on how they play this.
Go for damage on the inhibitor. They have some pretty good as well. Damage comes
it.
through. Ace Mods goes in, but Cosmic Radiance isn't able to deliver to him in time. They're jumping right onto the backline. Dongafish kills the AD carry as the Chocho picks up one, picks up two, picks up three, coming in through.
They couldn't get to the carries.
Not going to mean anything, and I think that's the end of the journey for FrostyEsports.
And the Venomous Snake managed to survive the winter. And FrostyEsports has gone down. What an incredible matchup by DTS. And they have managed to take advantage of every clutch moment they can get, and they won it in the end with a very well-crafted
one last kill onto Doctor. Your 5th seed is making their way straight to the semifinals. DTS, they don't even need Jin Daddy on this one, as they absolutely remove FrostyEsports off of the bracket. They're not even going to get a kill on Donavicius. That's it, 24 minutes in. A few more kills to come through. And there's the Nexus.
And another ace to go with that one. And DTS will come out on top. Whoa! Oh my goodness.
Oh my lord.
You see what happened there?
Yes.
Okay, I thought
Looks
it was
like
me.
the game exploded with FrostyEsports on that one.
literally every crit in the entire universe just happened in that one instance. Never seen anything quite like that one, and that is how she wrote it, folks. You have yourself the winning team here. DTS has won the matchup here. Let's go ahead and take a look at their statistics. We'll give it a nice little once-over, then we'll go right into an interview. I'm more curious who did more damage, Draven or Brand, and it appears to be the Draven by a massive amount. 5,000 damage over. But actually, he did more damage than the minutes allowed. Wow. Can you believe that? More damage than the minutes.
All right, that is some crazy stuff coming out of DTS. They'll be facing, depending on the winner of GG Esports versus Corey in the house, they'll either be facing Piping Esports or likes of Naughty Nips, presumably Naughty Nips as of right now, but nothing is set in stone as we clearly saw. The lower seed might just have the advantage.
It was a very good match to watch. It was very fun, and we take one last look at Dota's favorite topic, the Control Wars. Brand decided not to buy one, and there you have it, folks. Donga Vicious. So I'm going to be honest, I've never really saw too much of a great play from all of these players, but they definitely came alive, and they looked like dominating out there, and I'm genuinely impressed by all of it. Let's go ahead and get on to the interview, shall we? We'll be heading over towards our desk, as it appears most definitely. We will have it sorted and done in a moment. We just had to clean it up a bit. I think it pretty much should be good right about now, so we'll be right back, folks.
Believe so as well.
Give us a second. Okay, well,
all right.
Everything seems to be in order. Perfect.
All right,
okay.
Excellent. Loud and clear.
Loud and
so
clear.
I'm going to ask you, Army, on this one. Who are you feeling in that hot DTS series with Jin Daddy 2.0?
Well, I mean, parody aside, I actually kind of like the Cho here a lot. He definitely had a very fantastic game, and Drago Kinya really did look like a good way to get him into that position. But when he was finally in that position, he absolutely dominated. 15, 2, and 6 in the next game on Game 2 is just such a big statistic that it's almost kind of overshadowing how great Donga Vicious and Drago and Dub and TK all did in their individual lanes and responsibilities. The Cho is a go-go, in my opinion.
Cho's a go-go in your opinion? Well, I think it's pretty split between the Cho and Donga Vicious. And I have to admit, Donga Vicious played incredible on the Twisted Fate Game 1, pretty solid on the Brandon Game 2. For the sake of agreeing with you, I'm going to say the Cho also with a great performance in both games on the 80 carries. He picked up 15, 2, and 6. You can't really overlook. And absolutely strong force as to why GTS ended up winning this match.
All right, well, let's go ahead and ask the Cho to see if he's got some free time to chat.
Looks like he does.
Oh, wow, is he already here?
He's already here. Let's bring him right in.
Okay, well, thank you very much. So, the Cho. Hey.
Yeah.
Hey. Congratulations. You're the standout player of the series against FrostyEsports. And with this, you and your team advanced to the semifinals. As I said, to face presumably Naughty Nips. How do you feel?
Dude, I feel amazing. Like, Game 1, I was super scared. But, after seeing our performance, I was cocky. I was willing to do what I wanted to do. So it paid off. Thank you.
You guys absolutely look like a predator out there. Were you really feeling even more nervous when Jin Daddy was irresponsive during the prepping time of the early time with the Discord errors and stuff? Like, what happened with that?
I think he had, I don't know, but I think he had some real toilet problems over there. That's my guess anyways. He said bathroom and never came out.
Huh, he sat in the bathroom and never came out. Well, thankfully, he didn't need to come out of that bathroom because your team definitely looked like you were playoff ready. In fact, you guys look absolutely fantastic. So, I'm going to take you back. Game 2 time. You're Draven. You've got 15, 2, and 6 on your kill-death ratio. Do you feel like you did the most damage in the game?
No.
At that point. You did.
Honestly,
you did, by the way.
Oh shit! Really?
You actually you actually damaged your per minute. You damaged 25 I think 25.6 was it? Yeah,
Not
20.
bad.
25.9 actually. You almost got 26 out of the 24-minute mark.
Honestly, I don't even know how I did all that.
Crits,
I
baby.
just stole
Crits.
people. I just KS my friends and they were like, dude, what the fuck? And I was like, hey, I'm
Yeah.
Draven. I need it.
Hey, man. Not Draven. Draven.
Draven.
All right, good stuff coming through the Chocho. I got one more question to throw at you, and that is walking into this matchup against FrostyEsports with or without Jin Daddy. How are you feeling?
Dude, honestly, I had this shake. Like, it's a small tournament and all that, but I've never been exposed to a competitive scene. So, I look at my hands and they're shaking, and I'm like, oh god, what am I gonna do? You feel
Mhm.
me?
Well, honestly, me specifically, no. I've never been in that type of environment. I heard
Same.
Blaze has, though, once before. Well,
Nonetheless, though, the Chocho, your hands shaking or not, you are coming out as the victor at the end of the day. Congratulations on your victory
mhm.
against FrostyEsports and your advance into the semifinals.
So,
Thank you, thank
final
you.
thoughts? Anything you want to say about DTS for the next week to come? You may be taking on Naughty Nips, or you may be taking on, well, I don't know. What do you think? Who do you think is your next opponent, and what do you think personally?
Hey, I'm just gonna go by the seeds and call it Naughty Nips' win because they look pretty scary last time I looked at them.
Hmm. Okay. Well, uh,
Yeah,
good luck with that. Really appreciate it very much. The Cho ADC of Tssst, otherwise known as DTS. Thank you very much for being part of the interview. Good luck with your matches to come, and see you later, man. Doors on the right.
thank you, thank you. Have a good one, y'all.
All right. So as you take a look over at these statistics here, it is going to be DTS moving on. They will either be advancing towards the semifinals if GG Esports wins, but if Corey and the House team wins somehow in that matchup, that would be pretty interesting because that would mean that the semifinals will be Corey and the House versus Nutty Nips. But who knows? Comes down to games to be played, and DTS may be going against the Naughty Nip if GG Esports are the victors. So both of an option, and the only way you're going to find out is tomorrow, 7 p.m. And the time that it's going to happen, I hope I'll be sticking around because apparently there's a storm coming, and I'm going to hope the fans of the Frosty Esports team that since I flamed them the entire time, is it gonna ruin my internet?
Well, nonetheless, I think that's also a time where we do our epilogues. Your play-by-play caster, and Ultimate Jinx King himself, Blaze.
Jinx King, you say? Well, I certainly know about that because I'm Army Overlord and I'm your color caster and also a pretty good Jinx King as well as the camera guy. Thank you very much for watching, guys. We'll see you tomorrow, 7 p.m., right around the same time. Let's hope for some more games. See what GG Esports and the Corey and the House crew have got in store for us. Good night.